America prides itself on being connected and having great people within its borders. Small towns are some of the best, holding on to hard work and community as their defining lines. Hillsborough is a sterling example of such things. Located on West King Street is a small store that harbors some of Hillsborough's finest and true. Owned by a man with some of the deepest roots in town, Wesley Woods. He's a man that holds the title of a true red, white, and blue American, and doesn't know the words to give up. He's a fighter and a perfect example of what makes small towns more than just a small town. He created the store that it is today, and he raised two working men that run the store now. This store is Dual Supply Company, a hardware store that's been run by the Woods family name for around 40 years. It holds many bits and pieces that you may need. Nails and putty for your DIY projects, air filters for your AC vents, and even keys that can be copied as a backup in case you lost your previous set. With all the different parts and pieces you can find in the store, it almost screams a sort of symbolism that you need individual pieces in order to create something real. And you need people to create and maintain that real thing. Meet the Woods brothers, Mike and Jeffrey Woods. These brothers have been running Dual Supply Store for the past few years just to help their father. Both have their own stories and individual personalities, but both are bound by blood and brotherhood. If you first walk in the store, you'll be greeted by Jeffrey Woods, the charismatic brother. He almost always has a smile on his face and does his best to help. I came to find that he's just one of those kinds of guys that you just can't help but be surprised at their energy. He works hard and still has the drive to do more. He's a man that will go the extra mile just to bring a smile to someone's face. He works diligently to do his part and help whoever he can if they're having any trouble. After working in the store since his high school years, he learned the tools of the trade and is a hell of a salesman when it comes to the store. Oh man, he's full of stories if you just ask him. He dedicates just as much energy to the details of his story as he does to the effort of his work. He really is a true American-made man. Mike Woods is the other brother that helps manage the day-to-day operations of the store. Just like Jeff, he's worked at Dual Supply since his teens, and though he did get to spread his wings to other pursuits, he came back to help his family. Mike is the more reserved one of him and his brother, and that makes him just as interesting as his brother. In my time spent in the store, Mike told me everything I wanted to know and more about when it came to the store's history. He's quiet, but he's strong and hardworking, which means he knows what he's doing. Some customers would come in and ask for specific things, and others would come in with a vague notion of what they were looking for. Mike, even with the slightest amount of info of what they needed, he knew exactly what they were looking for. Ponders for a second, and then he would lead the customer to exactly what they were looking for. And if the customer came for a solution, he knew exactly what would get the job done. But there's more to the full picture. Out of the back of the shop is a small mechanic's shop, and two more characters just as interesting as the brothers. Two people who are just as close to small town as it can get. Meet Ronnie, a man just as colorful of a personality as a Bob Ross painting. Ronnie is a true Southern man that gives Southern hospitality a new name. With his attitude and energy, you wouldn't think of him as the aged man he is. His hands are strong and worn from the many years of tinkering and repairing old lawnmower engines. He loves what he does and loves to pick on his friend Buck during work hours. But he's a focused and driven man. From my perspective of his work, his desire to help drives him to love his job even more. People come in with a problem and he just wants to help. It's a simple truth, but it's very real. He truly is a Southern man, not just because he likes burgers, but because of who he is and how he carries himself. Buck is the wise old man of the shop. His weathered features showcase that he's experienced, and he's not just some old man. Simple is the term I would describe him as, but that's not a bad thing. Simple means that he's a man of action rather than talk. If you ask, he'll answer, and he's one of the more kindest people you'll find in Hillsborough. He's been working at Dual Supply for 10 years now, and I'd say he's a true craftsman of his work. He is meticulous and detail-oriented when it comes to his tools and his workspace. He's efficient in his work, and he's focused. His hands, too, are worn from years of hard work and experiences of the past, but he does things at his own pace. Buck and Ronnie work well together, and their individual characteristics balance each other out in helping create an environment of work that really both can feed on. They aren't related, but both have a similar connection to their own understandings. And just like the two in the back, the brothers balance each other out in ways that help them work. A lot of people would call it working chemistry and other fancy terms from a dictionary, but from what I've seen in the experience, there's really only one term I would use, and that is the thing that really connects all small towns together. And that term is family.